It's about maintaining contact, just keep coming up.
Oh, there's another Calyptrophora species from NOAA.
So here comes Herc back in Argus's view. Yeah, first big sponge we've seen in a while. We're at about 1950 meters of water depth. Coming up on a nice ropey sheet flow here.
Yeah.
Looks like there might be some more sponges up ahead of Herc, based on Argus's view. But maybe they're just more corals. Hard to tell.
I kind of paused there on making a ship move, so go ahead and call another one in.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
You can see the current is taking Argus in another strange position as well.
Yeah.
Same current that's ripping through ROV Hercules.
So again, the current seems to have a coming from the south. So Herc is currently looking in a southeastern direction. We see that the current is coming in from the right side of our view from the south. Still quite pronounced.
Steve, I think it's tough for viewers at home to see the nodes on the coral. Can you describe a little bit about what you were looking at there?
Yeah, it is hard to see on some corals versus others.
Is it possible to pull up a picture that we could show?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and get back to your configuration there, Jake.
Ask Jeff to switch it over once you find one. IPAC is good for now.
I can put it up here. Probably easier because I've got a lot of other windows open and capture that I need to access.
Yep.
So I'm going to put it on Sci computer. So a good example.
Might have some moments where we're not moving too much with Argus.
Very easy to see.
There's no nodes in that one.
Yeah. They're there. They're just sometimes
Really hard
in some
to see.
clades nodes are darker than others.
Yeah.
So those are nodal branchers.
What about that? That shows the nodes pretty well, even though it doesn't have a lot of polyps.
Yeah, there we go. So I have a photo up on Sci computer.
What's up?
That
This
one.
one.
Try to pipe out.
There you go.
There we go, yeah. So this is a photo of a bamboo coral called Acanella that was identified from the musician seamounts. And you can see this bamboo coral, why it might be called a bamboo coral, because it has these series of alternating nodes and internodes, the internodes being calcium carbonate, white, in this case, skeleton material, and then the nodes are dark protein substance called gorgonin, and those are the defining characteristics of the bamboo corals. And some of the diagnostic features we use to identify bamboo corals into finer taxonomic groupings are whether the nodes are branch points, for example. Are the branches occurring at the nodes, or are they occurring between the nodes, on the calcium carbonate structures? Or sometimes the color of the nodes, if nodes are lighter colored or if they're darker colored, those are important factors as well. How many branches occur at the nodes, for example, if it's a nodal brancher, in this case, multiple branches per node. It's kind of a really important characteristic.
That's a primnoid at the bottom center that just went out. that I don't think we've seen before. Well, I have no idea what I'm talking about, but if I had to guess.
I thought we established earlier that actually you
Yeah,
do.
it's just down
Yeah,
now.
yeah. You have credibility now.
Yeah.
Don't squander it.
Yeah, it's written down in the record.
Yeah, I'd like to tempt fate,
Oh yeah,
ruin
there
my
it is.
reputation.
You talking about that one right there?
Yeah, it looked like the different branching than we've seen, but Steve will say it's the same.
We all make bad calls now and again. It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
You're allowed a few strikes.
Ooh,
Yeah.
shots fired.
Yeah, so you're 6 meters off the bottom, so you can come down quite a bit.
Remember, we're doing this in real time. Like the people who get to analyze this video, they can look at all sorts of other information to make that call.
Yeah,
But I actually think you might be right. In fact.
I don't think I've ever taken a biology course, so that may explain some things.
I don't know. I'd call 9 years on Nautilus biology course.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah. So
What's the,
I can get you a proper
wanna
certificate
tell
if
us
you'd
straight?
like.
I would
Where's
love that.
This one right here.
Yeah, that's the one.
Interesting, that one's quivering too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some pretty strong current here. Yeah. For the corals, at least.
There we go. You don't
Looks
wanna,
like there might be some predation happening right there.
nice.
Oh yeah.
you don't want to plow too much there.
Yeah, this.
You can probably zoom from
That's
there.
what Yeah, that's a
Does anything
good
look
spot.
interesting to you here, Steve?
We
Yeah,
gotta-
I know. I agree with you about the primnoid.
Yes.
It all looks interesting, but yeah, anything to preferentially zoom on? No, I don't have any
Okay.
preferences. But yeah, you're right about that fan in the background that had that predator on it. It's likely a primnoid.
Nice.
All right,
Nice.
well, let's keep moving.
Yeah, we caught up a bit too, so.
Yeah.
Oh, we have? Okay, good.
So Argus is now over Hercules. We got a little bit of
But still out in front of the ship, interestingly.
yeah, I think that
Yeah.
that's that current. I want to say that that's the south.
Yeah, south-southeast.
Yeah.
Push.
Yep. Which is, it's quite interesting because as we've been progressing up this feature, whether it's the depth or the current eddying or what have you, Argus has settled in different positions relative to straight aft down from the ship. So current does have an effect.
How heavy is Argus?
5,000 pounds, I believe.
Can you say that again, Jess?
Oh, sorry. 5,000 pounds,
Okay.
I believe.
I think Herc is actually heavier than Argus, like 6,000 or something.
I wish I knew like the down to the
Yeah.
small integer number, you know what I mean?
Somebody go wake Trevor up.
Yeah.
It seems like a very appropriate question to wake someone up from.
Speaking of weight, how many pounds of rocks do you think we all have collected this cruise?
This cruise?
Yeah.
Oh, no, this is an interesting
Let's
question.
play a little guessing game while we.
I'm going to
Probably
get,
probably picked up, what, about 5 to 6 rocks per dive?
Mhm. And we've had 5 dives, 6 dives,
We've done, this is our 7th dive.
7th dive, yeah. I want to guess 400 pounds.
371.
Oh,
There-
Are we going
Very
by the
good.
end of the cruise?
That's what
No,
I'm
how
going.
many so far? How many
Okay.
pounds?
371 pounds. This is like the Price is Right in the front row here.
Both very good guesses so far.
I'm going to go with 402.
I mean, I don't know.
Rainey-
I
and
don't
Rainey's
know
gonna
it to
go
the
1
pound. I know it
pound.
to the tens of pounds. So let's.
I feel a little gypped right now.
I
Well,
just want to be closest.
I don't
without
know.
going
We
over.
did collect a 150-pound rock. I'm
Yeah,
thinking-
150
Exactly.
pound
That's
rock.
true.
I'm thinking high. I think I gotta go 603.
Oh.
Is anybody writing these down?
No.
No, we'll adjust them based on what the actual number is. And yeah, oh yeah, that was pretty close.
We've got a guess. We've got some of our audience is also sending
You
in
wanna
some
come down a
guesses.
little bit, and then you can just approach
Yeah,
the slope and wait for
250.
Argus to catch up.
So by the latest measurement of all the rocks we boxed up, courtesy of Andrea today, we are sitting at about 330 pounds of rocks right now.
Oh, we all went high.
Oh, I missed the answer. Wait, what was it?
330.
303?
330.
330.
Wow.
We're halfway through our dive. 603 is not sounding bad, guys.
No, that was through today. It's not total.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're halfway through.
Yeah, are you counting the rocks in the box right now? That might be in closer to like
I was. 371 was counting the rocks in the box today.
Oh, that's we were only up till
Change your
today?
answer now.
Technically, it's not a sample until it gets back to the ship.
I thought we were till the end of the cruise. I
Yeah, and we collected a very, very small rock.
did not understand the assignment.
A couple nodules.
Perhaps unsurprisingly.
I think this is the indicator that it's almost the end of our watch.
I think the person who was closest without going over was actually our audience member.
Yeah,
Right.
250.
Well done. Very nice.
Oh, we got a
335,
sea star predation right up here.
What's that?
Oh yeah,
335?
nice one.
The number?
No, the
330?
Heading is
135.
125. Yeah.
125.
Yeah.
Jake, could we get a partial zoom on this little sea star?
I have a minute.
Oh, the one predating the thing?
Yeah, that one right there.
Yeah. You can do
Yeah.
that, and then you'll have to boogie again.
Yep.
Yeah, it should be all right for a little bit.
Looks like he's been nom-nomming away for a while.
Oh, yeah. It's Thanksgiving for this sea
Yeah.
star, too.
Zoom there, Jeff.
I feel like Chonoclops is a good name for this too.
Yeah.
It's just chunky.
Chonka
is,
clouds.
Chunky.
Yeah.
All right.
This one looks like a star called Hipposterius.
Hippo makes sense.
All right, thanks. I know you got a boogie.
But that,
Yep.
yeah, that's
All right.
really neat.
I'm surprised that it's sustaining that.
Still going downslope.
They're
Yeah,
surprisingly
watch your
light.
DVO
Yeah.
there, and
Uh,
you can navigate based
find,
on that guy.
you know,
Yep.
what look like pretty heavy stars out
Yeah.
on a long limb, and they just have,
That calcium carbonate strong enough?
yeah. I mean, the corals are flexible, and the sea stars are really not that heavy at all in water. Look at my sea stars.
All right, the density's going down a little bit. Current still seems to be pretty thick.
Just gonna spin around here for a second.
Yeah. You keep descending too, because we're going down slope.
Yeah, it might be easier to just, once you spin, you can do a little bit of a lateral. And
Jeff, can you bring up high pack and channel 3, please? So you can see here the heading of Herc is in the southeastern direction. And we're looking down slope as we head towards our next target.
Oh, lateral. I don't think I'm moving.
Oh, wow.
I'll move a little bit.
then go ahead and change your heading a bit to fight the current and get Endurgus there. And also to
It
face
seems
the
that
slope.
the current is still coming from our south.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. So now that
there
you're
we
facing
go.
down
Yep.
slope, you're going to hit the,
Altitude.
Nice. Yeah, this will be a better heading.
There we go. Altitude was 0 there for a second.
yeah. You can see on your DVL, your orientation.
Yeah.
Can we tilt the Zeus down just a skosh to get out of the lights?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the current here is really ripping.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah, no worries.
to start to get behind Argus. So you're going to want to turn to port or lateral to port.
Yeah, I'm 100% lateral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Is there any way of knowing what this sediment is, Beth? Is it silica or diatomaceous?
Not just by looking at it, no. Someone would need to
Nice.
filter it in a high enough density to look at that.
Nice.
I don't know if it's just our
Thanks,
angle or if it is like playing tricks on me, but it definitely seems that the seafloor here is more sediment covered.
That's the way it looks, yeah.
What is our altitude?
2 meters off the back of Herc,
Yeah, okay.
but it's
Back starboard
probably,
side, yeah.
yeah, from the front, it looks like you're probably at like 5.
We're going down slope, so it's pretty
Yeah.
tough. Turn a little bit more.
You having fun driving, Jake?
Yeah, it's definitely tough with this current, I will say. I'm struggling.
If you want, you can now turn. It looks like the slope's going to go the other way. So you can turn the other way and get better visual contact.
Oh, you mean port to port?
Yeah, turn to port. And watch that sponge behind you.
Yep.
There you go. If
Nice.
if you keep that right there, so you're in front of Argus, you face, you could even face, yeah, just lateral. Oh, well, kind of. You want to be a little more facing the slope if you're going to lateral, because we're kind of going that way. But I don't know if your lateral can fight it. So
Yeah, struggling.
there you go. You're a little more than that. So you want to do like 90 to 125, which is 4.5.
And then another thing to keep in mind right now too, Jake, is that I usually like to keep Argus 20 meters off the slope.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to go down even though we're at a higher delta right now.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to wait for Argus to be out of that ring of fire danger zone.
Yeah, the downslopes are hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the current.
Right.
Yeah.
It's definitely
Like you can...
Doing good.
tough.
We're moving back
Wow.
into the saddle. Again, I remember last time we dropped down to into a saddle on our shallower dive at the site. It was kind of, wasn't as much there between the two.
Oh yeah, no, the saddles, we've often seen those little sediment depressions with
Yep.
the manganese nodules, but not nearly this much current.
Yeah.
So I think this is the most current I've seen on a dive.
Are we just going to keep going southeast along?
Yeah,
This line?
so if Rennie has time to zoom out on HiPAC,
Sure. Where's my mouse?
you'll see where we're going to start. That's the previous dive.
Eventually we're going to turn south and then
Yeah,
cross
so we're
this
kind
saddle.
of, we're moving. You can see Jake's lateraling kind of southeast, even though he's got a heading that's more northeast. So we're kind of just moving south-southeast to catch up with where we dove before. And at some point between here and there, the sponges have to start reappearing.
So what's, as far as long-term plans, because we have till...
I don't know. That's going to be up to, the original long-term plan was that this dive goes about 200 meters past the earlier dive.
Coming up this
We're
way.
clearly going to
Just
pass
taking a
that.
look.
So I think it's going to be up to Emil and Andrea where they want to go.
Yeah.
There's Gabby.
And future Gabby.
Maybe try approaching the wall this way while we wait for Argus, and then come, like, drive a little forward on this heading. Then you can get some more light and take some more looks. And then before we hand over, we're going to have to check out that tether raft that we have.
Yep.
Jess, how do you keep track of tether wraps?
Oh, we have a count.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Based off of our heading, right?
Yeah, yeah, so we set it at the beginning of a dive, and it's based on our compasses at the beginning of the dive.
Okay.
So when we are going down, we're kind of faced away from each other, Herc and Argus. And that's how we're going to also be recovering. So at that orientation of facing away, we zero out the wraps.
Yeah.
And then so that is also helpful for us, so that when we're recovering, we actually know that we've turned, the right way, and we haven't put a wrap in the tether, which shows in the lift line, and it can also, if you have too many wraps in a tether, it also compromise your tether.
Yep.
Nice.
Ship moves complete. It looks like Argus is probably gonna be stopping soon.
It's like
Try
sun showing up in Argus view.
Try to get us to that target before the watch change.
Sure.
Bridge nav. One step 60 meters, bearing 125. Thank you.
Thanks to everybody that's been tuning in online and watching the exploration of the seafloor along with us. This dive is supposed to be on the seafloor for another 6 hours for recovery at 8 a.m. Hawaii time, which will be right around sunrise out here.
Wraps out.
Was that?
No more tether wrap.
Yeah, the wrap's out. It's okay to have a half a wrap, it's fine, but. Yeah, for those interested in training to be an ROV pilot, there's lots of great resources on Nautilus Live website. You can check out the bios of both Jake and Jess here represented on this watch, or any of the ROV pilots that we have. Go ahead and get a little closer to the seafloor there, Jake. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and hand over my microphone to my counterpart here. Kim Weaver's here from the 12 to 4 shift.
Thanks for flying with us.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining along, everyone. Keep watching. Again, like Beth said, we'll be on the seafloor here for another 6 hours here on Don Quixote Seamount.
I don't know about, okay.
A little far out ahead, I think.
Yeah.
It's tugging a bit.
Hi.
Zoom there, Jeff. Which one's that? To my... Zoom there, Jeff. Yeah. Hello.
8 to 12, signing off.
Sorry. All right, I'll try. Just never, yeah.
Hey everybody, we are just getting settled here. Your 12 to 4 Tectonic Turtles watch, taking over from our counterparts. Steve, I'm not sure if you're hearing Andrea. She's not on SPL, but she's wanting screen grabs of those ripple marks. If you and Sarah. Argus view as well. You can see the ripples.
Hello.
There you go. Bueller.
Bueller. Yeah, those ripple marks, if someone got screen grabs, too late now.
I don't, Sarah didn't have her headset on yet, so.
Of course we missed them.
Well, they're just there to the right. The ripple marks are just there to the right,
are?
so we might be able to swing over.
Sarah was all over it. She got it.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, because I was screaming out loud like a lunatic. Sorry, Sarah. I mean, I didn't either.
Shift change can be a little bit,
You can't remember if you have your headset on or your headset off.
a little bit of something. So we get ourselves settled here.
Oh. Okay.
Before we get going, looking at my front row to see if they're ready to rumble. At this time, we are going to turn off SPL for just a moment and go radio silent in order to conduct a private ceremonial protocol to acknowledge and honor the biocultural resources that are present and that we are about to be interacting with and impacting. We will be back on SPL shortly.
We are ready to sample.
All right. Do we want to look to the right there to see if we can spy those ripples again, or are you good?
I think Sarah said she caught them, and then to the left we see a giant sponge.
Okay.
So Nav, what we're thinking here is there's that knoll to the northeast of us. Not south yet, but just to back up to the northeast. Northeast. That one. Go check that out, see if we've got high density corals along there, and then come back down to the saddle. I don't think you're on SPL yet, or unmuted. There we go.
Sorry about that. I was hearing you. Yeah, that sounds great. I was going to ask what you guys wanted to do, so.
Yeah, I understand the currents are from the south, at present, and so Argus and Herc should be in a good position to move that direction.
Walteria sponge there. And then, yeah, can we go look at that big sponge to our left?
Are you looking in the Argus view?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Yes, we can.
Yeah, so we could hold off on that ship move for now.
So it seems like the density of Walterian sponges are greater here.
A little bit.
Ooh, nice sponge.
Oh, there
Wow.
it is. There was
Oh yeah. So yeah, maybe we could start that ship moving. Take us in the right direction to look at these sponges.
That is a really round sponge.
Nav, what's the bearing of your move going to be?
It's going to be 040.
Thank you. Ooh, this is a beauty.
It
Nice
is
shot.
a beauty.
Definitely worth a zoom.
Wow. Look at that, guys.
I'll allow it. Let's have a zoom video. Okay, definitely.
Who's in there?
Argus view looks like Herc is getting right up close to the TV. You know, it's like watching the TV. Real
Gonna hurt
close.
your eyes.
Yeah.
Actually, can you go wide? I got unstable there for a second. Sorry, Dan, what was that? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, I wish.
We get some lasers off shots of this.
Yeah.
That's a beauty. So I would say that's definitely a meter diameter at least, right?
At least, yeah.
Like 2.
You think 2?
I think so.
Okay, you can zoom video. There isn't really a place for me to set down here, so it's just gonna look like this. Oh, yes, she does. Okay.
Beautiful sponge.
Oh, there's
little
one.
things living in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Now, did they enter the backside, or they trapped in there since they were larvae?
As fast as I can.
I think you can get in the back.
Is this a polyopogon?
I think it's a polyopogon because
Can
see
you
that
go a little wider video?
structure that almost looks like a gunny sack in there? I think that is indicative of a polyopogon, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I know that Chris was trying to classify a sponge that is in the science lab, and he was telling us that it didn't have those, and those will remain even after the sponge dies. So that was one identifying characteristic.
You back up just a little, you'll light it up pretty good there in Argus for a scale view. It's wider than Herc.
Fantastic.
Yeah. That's a serious sponge.
So I'm getting a viewer question about the water temperature where we are. We are currently at a depth of about 1,980 meters. And it's cold down there. It's 35.5 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 1.9 degrees C. It's chilly. Meanwhile, at the surface, I don't know, what would you say? 70 degrees out there?
Yeah.
Yeah, 70 degrees F outside this morning as we came on shift here at midnight local time, Hawaii Standard Time.
And I saw some squids zipping around in the water, catching things that were being drawn to the light.
Off the edge of the ship just now?
Yep.
Cool.
They're fast. And there's a coral right behind this sponge, a little pink coral.
You can follow along with our depth and temperature measurements, as well as the ship heading on the main website page, nautiluslive.org. Anytime the ROVs are diving, that information is displayed in the sidebar so that you can keep track of us in case our location, depth, or temperature are of interest to you.
And so this sponge did not attach to a rock. So once we have seen before
Steve,
that.
what's on your mind for this? Oh, sorry.
That's okay. When a sponge gets attached to a rock, and once it gets large enough, it actually tips over because the rock can't hold it. This one is attached to basically cooled lava that is much larger extent, probably attached more to a type bedrock surface. And so that might be one of the reasons it gets this large. And another thing of interest for identifying a sponge is how it is attached. So you can see the attachment there in the backside, and Dr. Chris Kelly examines that to determine the species of the sponge.
That's a great shot because you can kind of see the small particles being carried from left to right, which would be right into that giant satellite dish of this sponge for filter feeding.
Yeah, maybe one of the reasons why it got so big.
Yeah, hungry, hungry hippo.
And Kim, didn't you say you got to touch a sponge once it dried out into a piece of a sponge you got to feel in the science lab?
Yeah, the one that they collected a couple of days ago that was very, very fragile. And let's just say it reminded me of insulating my attic with fiberglass insulation. That's kind of what it felt like. There didn't appear to be any flesh on it, just the spicules.
This is the one in the big bin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Steve wants to name it the sea sheep.
Oh, the sea sheep.
Yeah.
So as we're getting some looks here at this giant sponge, just take a moment to introduce ourselves and what we do here on watch, and maybe something about Thanksgiving that something about your Thanksgiving this year. We celebrated Thanksgiving on the ship here yesterday, so who you are, what you're doing here on watch, and a little bit of something about Thanksgiving or something that you're thankful for.
My name is Andrea Balbus. I'm your friendly neighborhood geologist, and I loved how Marlene was so happy to put together a wonderful table, all decorated, and how happy she was at the end. That made me happy. Thanksgiving. It was really beautiful what she did. You notice how it was very finely balanced, the entire table.
Emil Petroncio, co-watch lead. I was grateful for that feast and also for our Wi-Fi connection to share it with friends and family back home and to hear how folks are enjoying the day back in the continental U.S.
Is that a sponge growing on a sponge?
Yeah, a sponge on
I
a
was going to do
sponge.
100 meters. You guys okay with that?
They're in the middle.
Cool.
Or just to the left.
Definitely seeing, definitely getting into high density again.
Yes, high density sponges.
So
can we move 100 meters, bearing 040?
Yeah, that's why we had those flares too.
Thanks, Alex.
And let's drop a target here, Nav, high density sponges. I like that little street light there.
Yeah, a sponge on a sponge.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And it looks like the second sponge, the smaller sponge, is taking advantage of how this first sponge might move the currents. Yeah.
sponge on sponge on sponge here in this.
Yep.
It's hard to tell if they're the same type of polyopogon or not. The smaller one has a very different texture on the back.
Yeah, it does.
The watch before us was mainly in high density coral communities.
Yeah, those have trailed off.
So one of the main things that we are here to observe is the distribution, density, diversity, composition of these sponge and coral communities, and sometimes one dominates, sometimes the other, and we did see some spectacular mixed communities on our last dive, so we came back to this location.
I just called in a 100-meter move towards the northeast.
I'm wondering if we followed this contour over to the east, if we would see more sponges or less sponges.
We could go up to that and we'll come back down along that contour maybe. But definitely some behind us. And
yeah, and it looks like a distinct contour on the topo map, on the contour map, right? Kind of has a level of steepness.
That is so cool.
That second sponge might be a different species because it seemed to have a different type of attachment.
It sure did, yeah. So continuing around the room, my name is Kim Weaver. I'm sitting in the Science Communication Fellow chair. And Thanksgiving was fantastic. And got to eat stuffing and pumpkin pie. And really, isn't that what Thanksgiving's all about?
So is this sponge behind it? Is this actually a pigmented one here?
I've been trying to figure that out. I think it's dying, but I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's dying or dead.
Yeah, dying or dead. But
this multi-sponge thing right here is just cracking me up. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. It does look like a mask. Like
yeah.
It looks
a fake nose on a
it looks like a Groucho Marx mask. Is what it looks like for sure.
Look at how much is accumulated on the back of this giant sponge too, down near the sediment. Or maybe that's growing.
Yeah, and I can't see the one that I think might be dead or dying. I can't see that it has an attachment. So that's one of the other reasons that makes me think.
Does look like it's down.
Yeah.
It's actually much steeper here than it looks.
Yeah, that's why I was saying it would be interesting to follow this contour, because maybe it's this steepness that's interplaying with the current that's making this best habitat.
It's an awesome shot from Argus.
Yeah, it is. That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on here.
Oh, there's a Dr. Seuss in the background there on the Argus.
Is there really?
Field.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen, oh, yeah, I see it. Yep.
Haven't seen
we
one
haven't
of those
seen
in a
one in a while.
Psych.
So that's another perfectly round sponge right in front of us. That's the we had to saw that ginormous one, and then this second.
Have we already looked to see what's on your right, Herc, on the, if you would pivot to the right, all that stuff down there in the Argus view?
Oh, yeah. I can pivot to the right. That is doable. I just really like this perfectly round sponge.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Wow, that is a beaut.
The
So,
ear next to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, with an ear.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a money shot from Argus.
Yeah. This is definitely a place where the sponges are happy.
Yeah, go for it. You can turn off whatever you want.
And it is relatively steep, so, you know, we keep talking about that, the interplay between the topography and the current, what role that plays, and it seems to be a significant variable for the density and diversity of life down here.
You'd need a really high resolution model to try to reproduce all that current flow here. All these knolls would have to be well resolved. There's a big one.
Oh, yeah. Prime real estate. And then we're back into the whip corals.
Yeah, starting to get those.
We get lasers on. Thanks.
Wow.
It's growing right up against that rock.
Yeah. Growing sideways. Well attached.
And again, he picked a big enough rock.
Yeah.
I wonder what that weighs.
Yeah.
Looks like there's a squat lobster holding on to a sponge or a whip coral on the top of that rock. And there's also some brittle stars on some Walterias there below. So this is another place where it seems to be a lot of particulates.
Some beautiful structures on the side of this.
Yeah, it's thick.
And it looks like both sides look like the front. You know, most of them have been flat on one side and kind of convex on the other. But that one...
This one's massive.
Is this a two-sided sponge?
I don't know. Two-faced.
Video, can you give me a zoom on that edge there?
Gladly. It's like...
That's some...
It's like ice.
Great shot. Wow.
Nicely done. If you're just joining us, welcome. We are diving here in Don Quixote Seamount in Papahanaumokuakea Marine Monument, west of Hawaii. We've been diving. This is our third dive on this seamount and our second in this general area. If you managed to tune in for the previous dive, we discovered high density sponge and coral communities. On this dive, we came back and started at a lower elevation and are working our way up, trying to find the limits of these communities.
Okay, I think I need to find myself in space again there, Steve.
So I think we did find the lower limit of the, about 1970 is where we started to see this grouping of high density sponges. I imagine it's going to disappear once we come back down off this local.
Oh, wow, look at that Argus view.
Into the saddle between these two local highs.
Some
You can
brittle
turn
stars?
off lights if you want on Herc. Well, that's okay. Sometimes that looks very dramatic.
I don't know if Kim has highlighted any of this for the Argus.
You know I have.
Thank you. I gotta come up a bit now because it's a big rock approaching.
That was super cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thanks, Steve.
This Thanksgiving, I am thankful for extreme zooms.
Oh, strange. I didn't expect to be going downhill here.
There you are.
I was going to do the next move bearing 030, so you could turn a little bit to your left maybe and see if we keep creeping uphill.
Sounds great.
That will get us to the top of this knoll.
Have we collected rocks for you on this dive yet?
They collected, I think, some manganese nodules and...
One, I think, for you.
Oh, and one?
Yeah.
And we're trying to leave some bio boxes open for Chris.
Ah, okay.
If he runs into another unfamiliar sponge.
Maybe it was that contour, that depth contour. I like that slope there.
It's amazing how quickly it changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 60 meters away from anything uphillish. Looks,
Yeah, I see
maybe
that.
to the north a bit, some uphill.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're getting it. Getting a little return there.
Here's
I
the
don't know
last
if
of the
that's
monster sponges for a while, sort of petering out.
We'll be back.
Yeah, we don't necessarily have to make the top of that knoll. What do you think of...
Yeah, we're coming to the end of the move I just made that was heading up towards there. So if we want a different plan, now would be a good time to think about that.
If there's any way, do you think, Kate, to follow that contour?
Go east?
Yeah.
Along that contour?
Looks like it.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Yes.
East along the contour.
So thinking about where we were with the high density sponges and then moving east.
Yeah, so Herc's heading is 201.